keynote address on Swami Vivekananda, the youth icon, which is going to be delivered by Shri R.N. Parashar, IAS, retired, member, Board of Advisor with Rishihood University, Daily World International Newspaper, National Road Safety Council, MORTH, and Haryana ERC. I would request the volunteers to kindly set the stage once again for our next address. Meanwhile, I would, you have a. I would take the privilege to kindly introduce formally our keynote speaker for the day, Shri R.N. Parashar. Sir holds master's degree in economics, physics, and bachelor's degree in law. Shri Parashar joined Indian Administrative Services in 1975. An IAS officer, he served the state in various capacities, from heading district administration as deputy commissioner to important government departments like home, town and country planning, education, food and supplies, excise and taxation, transport and power. He has also been the Home Secretary, Chandigarh Administration, Chandigarh, during 1990-92, and has headed large government undertakings such as Housing Board, HUDA, HARTRON, etc. Shri Parashar retired in 2009 from the post of Financial Commissioner and Principal Secretary to Government Haryana, Irrigation Department. After retirement, Shri Parashar was re-employed as Principal Advisor to Chief Minister Haryana for 1 year. He has written on various subjects. He is also a very fond person of adventure activities. He has interest in activities like wood carvings and stone sculpture. Besides all these achievements, he is also a very religious person. He has completed a trek to Kailash Mansarovar. He also has traveled walking to Mata Vaishno Devi from Katra to Darbar. We are extremely fortunate to have you, sir, here addressing us on a topic, Swami Vivekananda, the youth icon. I would now like to hand over the podium to you. Thank you.
After the astounding exposition by Dr. Upadhyay, very difficult to meet expectations. But what I am going to share with you is somewhat continuation of what he said, and maybe there will be some degree of overlap also. This is the eternal question in India. It's always been there, will always be there. Koham, who am I? This is a question which is the heart and body of Vedanta. And a lot of people associate Vivekananda with Vedanta. The beauty of this question is that it gives you an unending journey. And people spend their lifetime, maybe they find answers, maybe they find answers, but then everybody finds his own answer. A very simple answer, when you don't have time, has been given. I am that, I am he, whatever you may translate it. I am Brahmasmi, I am Brahma. Of course, you've used words. Brahma is a word. He is a pronoun, not even a noun. Since I am he, maybe I am referring to all of you. I am the same as all of you. That is what is perhaps Brahma. And so it clarifies, so are you. So, very complex question, but then there are simple answers also, depending on how many years in life you have, how much time you can spare for it. So, who is Vivekananda? Every one of us has so many roles, labels. Bigger the man, bigger are the number of labels on him. It gets covered with it. You have to peel off a lot to know him, if at all. But very difficult because we don't know ourselves. We don't know the answer to Koham. So how can I know anyone else when I can't know myself even? So we can simply say is Vivekananda. But what Vivekananda said about it is, naming is not explaining. The question remains the same. If he was earlier named Narendranath and then was named Vivekananda, so you call him Narendranath, you call him Vivekananda, what do I know about it? Doesn't tell me anything. It comes to us, as I said, in layers of packing. Each layer has a label. And what's a label for? Why do we put a label on something? This is the world of labels today. So you don't have to put in an effort. Without opening the package, you can make a presumption it contains that. The quantity, quality, everything. Whether it is true or not, you trust the label. Now, when I was a boy, labels were hidden. They used to put them inside the shoe. You didn't want to display the label. But today, they're out, bold, huge labels everywhere, back, front. Because at that time, you had to judge the quality of something without seeing the label. But today, you don't bother about judging the quality. You see the label and you make a presumption that ये label है तो अच्छा ही होगा. And if I go back a bit, it not only tells you the quality of the attire, but more consequentially of the wearer itself. So you judge the person by the label of the cloth that he is wearing. So who is this man? Again, now he is Swami, Swami Vivekananda. Why is Swami? He is wearing saffron clothes. He is sitting in a particular posture. So all people who wear saffron clothes sit cross-legged in a meditative posture are Swamis. I don't have to bother about the rest. They are very helpful. Reduce the effort. A lot of effort goes in knowing what is inside the package. So they are axiomatic. Axiomatic means it doesn't need a proof. You said it, it must be true. But if it looks very odd, then even mathematics has axioms. There are certain things in mathematics which are bases of mathematics. You can't proceed further without that. And we don't know whether they are true. Perhaps we know today they are not true. But still, for example, I'll give you a very simple axiom. The axiom is 2 points can be connected by a straight line. Any 2 points can be connected by a straight line. Is it true or false? If space was flat, it will be true. But we know today space is curved. So how can you draw a straight line on a curved space? So you cannot connect 2 points with a straight line. But this is an axiomatic truth and mathematics cannot proceed without it. So you believe in things sometimes you know to be false because they are useful. This is a very interesting statement once made by Secretary of Defense of the United States in the context of Iraq war, because there was that dispute about weapons of mass destruction. And so he coined this term called unknown unknowns. So there are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. And we are concerned just now with the second one, the known unknowns. We know they are there, but we do not know what they are. So these are also axiomatic assumptions. These known unknowns are also axiomatic assumptions. And people have tried to unravel these axiomatic assumptions. They get closer and closer to truth, but never to the whole truth. Because if you think you can get to the whole truth, you believe you know. And nobody knows. Because there's a very interesting poem by this writer. It tells you about a person who claims to know. There is no knowledge, but I know it. I am master of this college. What I don't know is not knowledge. So once you claim to know, you fall in this category. So these known unknowns are like life, death, life after death, life before death, creation, time, space, mind, intellect or viveka. All these things, we know there is something, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what is life, we don't know what is death, we do not know what is mind, what is space, we do not know. But we use these. Without these, a dialogue, a discourse cannot proceed. So we have these axiomatic presumptions with which we proceed. I have not included God or soul in that list, because these are unknown unknowns. These are not even known knowns. But in all discourse, they get in, somehow find their way in. So, we have seen Swami Vivekananda, but now he is in somewhat other form. And then you see that his turban looks a little different. His robe is a little different. He's using a waist belt, which Swamis don't use. Actually, these garments were gifted to him by Raja of Khetri in Rajasthan. And he was the man who gave him the name Vivekananda. Normally, a Swami is given a Diksha name at Dikshant Samaroh by the Guru. But Raja of Khetri said, you should have this name instead of Narendranath. So what I'm driving at is, you look at a man, hear about a man, make a lot of presumptions and feel satisfied that I know him. But as you analyze, that knowing becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's the beauty of it. Because Brahm or Ishwar or Gyan or whatever, Rigved says, Neti, Neti, Naiti, Naiti. So it's a process of elimination. We are eliminating one by one. We are doing Neti, Neti here. He's not this, he's not that. Just now, Dr. Upadhyay told how many words are there for a single entity. But one word has a lot of meanings also. Polysemous words have a lot of meanings. So Swami means a lot of things. Let's say it here means master or owner. So if he is a Swami, whose master is he? If he is an owner, what does he own? We have to find out. We know that he was a very intelligent man. He had a very high capability of organizing things, managing people. All these qualities were there. Now suppose instead of becoming Vivekananda, he had remained Narendranath, what would have happened? He could have been a business tycoon. He had all the qualities of putting up a big business. And Narendra means what? Lord of kings. He would have been Lord of kings in the world of materials. So there are a lot of people here who want to be Lord of kings. They want to be Narendranath. Nothing wrong with that. He spent a lot of life under that name. So, and the world needs Narendranath also. After all, if you see the Dashavatar story, till Parshuram, you start with Matsya and Kashyap and then Varaha and Narsimha and Parshuram. Till Parshuram, the world does not have order. Law is not there. Parshuram himself is lawless. He doesn't obey anybody's authority. He is a law unto himself. And agriculture cannot come unless law is there, state is there, because between the time of sowing the seed and harvesting the crop, there is a considerable time gap. And if there is no law, you sow the seed and somebody else harvests it. Nobody will do. Agriculture is not possible unless law and state are there. So Ram comes after Parshuram. He brings Ram Rajya. We call him Raja Ram. The biggest appellation of Ram is Raja Ram. And after Ram, in some works, they give Krishna, but Jayadev, in his Geet Govind, gives Balram. After Ram comes Balram the Haldar. Agriculture comes after Ram has come. So, you need Narendranath also. Without them, the world cannot run. So, Vivekananda, Vivek and Ananda. His name is in two parts. What is Vivek? It's a very unique word. It has no translation in any language of the world. You can have a definition, you can define it in any language, but a single word translation is very, very difficult for Vivek. You can say power of discernment, what is good, bad, right, or wrong at a given time, but needs a lot of explanation. And bliss, Anand, again, a very, very unique word. Anand is a very, very unique word. So this man, he's Swami, but master of himself. He's not master over the people. He's not Narendra, the king. He's master of himself. He owns himself. He's master of himself. So you could become Narendranath, but you'll still be reporting to someone. You become Vivekananda, you report to yourself only, nobody else. All this may tell you that he was an extraordinary man, maybe. But unless extraordinary is built on a foundation of ordinary, it becomes evil. Ravan is an example. Ravan was extraordinary, but the foundations were not ordinary. The foundations were based on ahankar, and so he became evil. So, Sylvia Plath, literature people would have read about her, American poet. She says, I don't want my baby to be exceptional, I want him to be common, because it's the exceptional that interests the devil. He becomes a Rakshas if exceptional is not built on the foundations of ordinary. So that is what Vivekananda tells you all. First be a good ordinary human being and then build extraordinary superstructures over it. Don't start with an extraordinary superstructure. Make your foundation strong with ordinary bricks and stones. You see, nobody decorates his foundation. You don't put tiles and sculptures and things in the foundation. Make it ordinary with ordinary materials but strong so that it can take the weight of superstructure which you will build over it. So, now we can say Vivekananda was an ordinary man. Looks very offensive to some. How can he be ordinary? So, he had all the normal desires, feelings, fears, even fears of us. Because how can you be human if all the emotions are not there? In our Kavya Shastra and Natya Shastra, is there one emotion which is missing? All the emotions, Dr. Upadhyay talked of Bharat's Natya Shastra. All the emotions are there. It is holistic. When all things are there, you become an ordinary human being, complete ordinary human beings. So I'll give you a few examples of all these feelings, not to run him down. I'm his great admirer. But to tell you, don't be ashamed of this. If you have fear, there's nothing to be ashamed of it. Fear of fear is to be ashamed of. Conquer fear. Have fear, no problem. Don't be afraid of fear. Conquer it. All these we call human failings, weaknesses, wrong. These are being human. These are essentials of being human. Conquer them. Don't be afraid of them. So don't read biographies of Vivekananda. Don't read biography of anyone. The writer, either criticizes him or praises him. Read what the fellow has himself written. So he finally reaches America by a longish route via Tokyo, Yokohama. Via Yokohama, he goes to America. He had very little money. He keeps talking about his lack of money. Even writes letters to people in India that I am running short of money, I am hungry, I don't have enough clothes. And then he writes this: all those rosy ideas we had before starting have melted, and I have to fight against impossibilities. 100 times I had a mind to go out of the country. Yes, these desires are making him weak, but he doesn't succumb to them. He's not afraid of them. I am determined and I have a calling from above. Here is Vivekananda. Above it is ordinary man. The last line is Vivekananda. So what he does when he reaches America, it's very expensive. So he goes outside Boston in a village and becomes the guest of some old lady. And what he goes through. I have an advantage in living with her, in saving for some time my expenditure of over £1 per day. And she has the advantage of inviting her friends over here and showing them a curio from India because of his dress and appearance. And all this must be borne. Starvation, cold, hooting in the streets on account of my quaint dress. These are what I have to fight against. This is a few days before his famous Chicago address. Did it affect him? It did not affect him. He saw this, he felt this, he was brave enough to write in his own hand about this, and he conquered this. So you needed a pass to go to the Parliament of Religions. And he didn't know many people there. Somehow, from this to that, you couldn't ask someone in India to do it because letters took 3 months to reach there. They went by steamship. So he had to manage somehow, but he got a pass finally. Getting the pass was okay. So what does he do? He says, now I need proper clothes. I have to give a lecture in the World Parliament of Religions. So, and he says, these people keep bothering me in the streets when I wear these Swami's clothes. So he says, in the streets I'll wear a black coat and keep the red robe and turban for the lecture. And last line, I leave it to you for reading. I will not read it. So he's a human being. He's a good human being. He's a complete human being. He's a confident human being. And he's a human being who says, nothing can defeat me. So, any one of you, when you come on the stage for the first time, what happens? There are butterflies in your stomach. See what he says. This huge hall packed with 6,000-7,000 people. I have never spoken in public in my life. He used to interact with people, but never before such a huge audience. My heart was fluttering, and my tongue nearly dried up. I was so nervous. Look at the courage of the man. He's writing it in his own hand. They were all prepared and came with ready-made speeches. I was a fool and had none, but bowed down to Saraswati and stepped up. This is what is required. There will be circumstances in your life which will look like a demon to you is coming to eat you up. It will gobble you. You're scared. You're worried. But you say, in any case, I am going to die if he eats me up. Why not fight and die if necessary? So, he succeeds. These are his own words. You would have seen a lot of things written about Boston Address, but these are his own words. He's happy. He's elated. Somebody may say, why should a Swami be elated? He should be like Ram. प्रसन्नताम न गताभिषेक तस्ता न ममले वनवास दुखत कि जब कहा कि आपका अभिषेक होगा तो प्रसन्न नहीं हुए, जब कहा कि वनवास मिलेगा तो दुखी नहीं हुए. No, he is here to make ordinary good people of us. He is not a king. He is no more Daridra. He is Vivekananda. He is in a state of bliss. So he says, I was happy. I could not have done it. God has made me do it. Mukam karoti vachalam. He's written that in the letter. And then he says, I became a celebrity. New York paper writes this. He's writing in his own hand, repeating the news in the New York paper. This man with handsome face and magnetic presence, till 2 days before, people were bothering him in the street, hooting him sometimes. Now the newspaper is writing, your circumstances change, but divine forces, mukam karoti vachalam, will work when you take courage. If he had run away from the situation, no mukam karoti vachalam, finished. He faced the situation boldly, irrespective of the consequences. He stepped up, remembered Saraswati and stepped up. And then he becomes a celebrity. Want to become a celebrity? See whether Vivekananda has a message for you. So, who is this man? He's become a celebrity now. Now, you can't ask who is this man. He's a Swami, great Vedantin, philosopher, scholar, orator, nationalist, Hindu revivalist, reformer, and of course of the Chicago Address fame. Finally, we put labels back on him once he becomes a celebrity. So an ordinary man with extraordinary capabilities becomes an icon. You have to decide what part of it will be your icon, whether the celebrity part or the fighter part. You have to decide it. His collected works run in 9 volumes. You will go to many homes. In the drawing room, you will find those 9 volumes kept there. Perhaps in the family, nobody would have read it because it's part of his celebrity icon. And now, of course, under the present dispensation, is becoming more popular. The only fear is he may become an ideology. From an ideal, he may become an ideology. That is the fear that we have to fight, because it will be destruction of the ideal. Vivekananda himself said at one place, never lower the ideal to the real, raise the real to the ideal. And if we get into Vivekanandism, we'll be lowering the ideal to the real. Do I have a little more time? Tell me whenever I have to stop. I can stop anywhere. So, what is ideology? It's fossilized. It's stone. It cannot be changed. It has an author. He's written the words in stone. They cannot be changed. But what is the destiny of stones? They become dust. All stones become dust. All mountains flow down to the sea as sand. And they don't survive. Only the living tree survives. If you see the Ashwath tree, what happens? It grows branches, and the branches grow roots. The old one may die, new ones will continue. You have to be living. The idea has to be living. Ideal has to be living. The moment it becomes ideology, it dies. It's a stone and becomes dust. So this conversion from ideal to ideologies, whether it is God or whether it is Vivekananda or whether it was Buddha, is done by priests. The priests are big culprits. Not all priests are bad. All generalizations are lies. Somebody said very wittily, one who generalizes generally lies. So, but you see the dominant behavior in a group, it becomes the bread and butter of the priest. I can't really blame him. He has a family back home and he has to earn money. So in the process, he dilutes the ideal and propagates the ideology. And so he said this. But you see, at the end of it, while he's talking about the priests, but he says priestcraft. Root out priestcraft first, not root out the priest. He's asking for rooting out the priestcraft. Same happened to Buddha. Buddha actually said to his disciples, don't make my idols, don't make my temples, don't worship me. And what happened? There are more idols of Buddha than of any god in the world. In China, I saw in one building called Summer Palace, there were more than 10,000 idols of Buddha, little bit all over the wall, all vandalized. Because when you make idol of anyone, some iconoclast will vandalize it also. So that is its destiny. But Buddha suffered this when he was no more. Vivekananda suffered this in his own lifetime. He became an idol. Should we talk about Vivekananda's thoughts? I don't think talking will help much. We can't also. Maybe we can read a bit, then contemplate. Maybe some truths will filter out. Not much of a subject of talking, but anyway, students are there, so something is to be said. So it's talking about him is like going on an ocean voyage and bringing a bucket full of water from there and saying, this is the ocean, to people who have never seen an ocean. So they'll say he's talking of big things and just water, and he and the ocean are also perhaps fake. So Vivekananda was very blunt about himself, about others also, priests and himself. He'll say the same bluntness. Never take anything for granted. This is not the scientific temperament. Every statement must be questioned. And every answer given to you must be questioned. Question the answer. Questioning is allowed by various cultures. Everybody allows a question to be asked. But questioning the answer is unique to our culture. We can question every answer, then again we'll question the answer, then again, and that is why we are eternal. Because this quest is never over. Every answer will be questioned. And that's why we continue. And I talked to you about Ashwath tree. This culture will remain an Ashwath tree only if we keep questioning the answers. Don't take any answer for granted, irrespective of the label that person is carrying. So every culture has fallen over. Okay, shall I stop here? Because time is over. So my only appeal to you is know yourself. Keep this journey on of knowing yourself. Koham should be your mantra. Who am I? And it's not related to spirituality. Even as a physical body, who are you? What is your capability? What is your weakness? What is your goal? What are the means to achieve it? What are the obstacles on the way? How I will fight those obstacles, and I will never give up without a fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening talk. I would now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Hemlata Bagla, to kindly come up on stage and felicitate Shri Aryan Prashar. A huge round of applause for Sir for the talk that he just gave us.